This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39-millimeter coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When I started getting ready to do this broadcast, this room generally is very sunny, but this particular day, it seemed like there wasn't that much sun coming through. And then the minute I decided to do this quick presentation to you, the sun came flowing in. So I'm going to accept it as a blessing and Allah's way of saying that they're excited for this presentation that I'm doing. That's my interpretation. So I wanted to take a moment to talk to you all about the commemorative Elijah coins and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum project, because as we're starting to gain momentum towards the finish line, many new people are coming on board, and there's a lot of questions. And even though I've covered them, I realize that a lot of you haven't seen them before or haven't heard me answer those questions before. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me see if I can scoot back a little bit here, but y'all can hear me. It's not necessarily that important that you see me. And just know that when I sat here, this sun wasn't happening like this. So anyway, as I mentioned, I'm the proprietor and developer and owner of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum, also known as Sajdah House. And the house is located at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue, right here in the great city of Chicago. The house is now listed on the National Register of Historic Places by the U.S. Department of Interior. It's the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and former national house of the Nation of Islam. It is sacred space, and it is of extreme importance to our community, to the city of Chicago, and to the world. So many of you all send me such beautiful and really deeply profound notes about this project and about the house. Some of them are so deeply profound that I'm almost literally afraid to read them. But one particular person sent me this quote from Amos, the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 11. And it says, "In that day, I will restore David's fallen shelter. I will repair its broken walls and restore its ruins, and will rebuild it as it used to be." And that struck me because the house was in such bad condition when we got it. We've literally almost but rebuilt the house and improved it with all new electrical and sewer and plumbing and HVAC and, restoring wood and replastering and getting out water damage and running the raccoons up out of there. And one of the goals is to make the first floor replicated, or to replicate that first floor to the way it looked when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad occupied the house somewhere in the late 60s and early 70s, but primarily late 60s. That's the mid to late 60s. That's the era we're going with. So when it says in that quote from the book of Amos 9:11, it's talking about Israel's restoration. And it says, "In that day, I will restore David's fallen shelter, and I will repair its broken walls." We repaired many broken walls, you all. "And restore its ruins." And many things in the house that were ruined, we either repaired or replaced, and rebuild it as it used to be. And so that's the plan there on the first floor as I'm saying this. The sun's getting brighter and brighter, but that's okay. Why is this house so sacred? I started using the word sacred when I referred to the house. I use the word because sacred is something that is connected with God or the gods or something so deserving of veneration. What is veneration? Veneration means great respect and honor. And our beloved, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, heard me to refer to the house as sacred and said to me, "You are right to call it sacred because it became sacred when a God decided to move in." That's why we call it sacred. A little bit more about the house. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his wife, Mother Clara Muhammad, hosted more leaders and icons from around the world that met and dined in that space than any other space in modern day African American history. From the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Mrs. Coretta Scott King, to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his wife, Mrs. Khadija Farrakhan, Muhammad Ali, Kwame Ture, Sam Cooke, Malcolm X, Mrs. Betty Shabazz, Senator Adam Clayton Powell, James Baldwin, James Brown, Mother Tynetta Muhammad, Mother Evelyn Muhammad, Dick Gregory, members of SNCC. Oh man, I could go on and on. And Senator Andrew Young, the black delegates of the 1968 Democratic Convention. And that's really the short list. One thing that I've been saying in conjunction, and I'm giving you all kind of cliff notes of talks that I've done over the past 4 years, just to consolidate them into one place. We are on the cusp of a cultural renaissance here in Chicago. You know, over 500,000 of our people migrated here to the great city of Chicago during what is described as the Great Migration from 1916 to 1970. We were redlined and restricted residentially, and thousands of iconic members of our community ended up in communities like this one that we're talking about today, where the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is. Actually, you're talking about Bronzeville and some of those other areas. And I got tons of talks where we talked about the Great Migration. But let me just say this. Their lives, their lifestyles, their experiences, their style, and their death made history, created industries, and sparked movements. Very little is known about the Chicago Renaissance. And my hope is that through your visiting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, you will become more interested in the great Chicago Renaissance. And you'll learn more about the urban history that is so pivotal to the history of the great city of Chicago and the United States of America. I heard Commissioner Cox say that so much of our history is tied up in our everyday, ordinary lives. And I would add that it happens on everyday blocks, in everyday houses, on everyday corners, places where you can't even imagine. And as things begin to regentrify, our history gets covered. And I'm not saying that we're against regentrification. What I am saying, though, is that I'm for preserving that real estate that is critical and pivotal to underserved communities in our great city of Chicago. Now, let me tell you about these commemorative Elijah coins. There's two different kinds, and we're going to talk about this one, which is the graded coin. Then I'll talk to you about what coin grading is. And then there is the pendants, and I'll talk to you about that as well. So I just wanted to quickly, I'll go into that. All right. Most renovation and preservation projects do not include careful restoration of old materials. A lot of people go in and they just bust down the walls and they just say, look, we'll just redo it and make it look like it used to look. In a lot of ways, that was a little blasphemous to me. Why? Because I'm a big proponent of understanding energy and vibrations. And everyone who's been in that house, especially the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, their vibration is wrapped up in the walls and the wood. And so we want to preserve it. So things like converting copper to these commemorative coins made sense. So we took many of the gutters and downspouts and transformed them, smelted them down, found a foundry, and created these commemorative coins. Coins have a rich history, making collecting them a rewarding hobby. And I'll show you a video a little bit later to help explain what the study of money and coin collecting really is. People collect coins for many reasons. There's oftentimes historic, artistic value, or to invest in coins for long-term profit. But to collect a coin made of the old copper from the recycled home of the most from the recycled copper of the home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is a very rare treasure, to say the least. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Each of these commemorative Elijah coins, this is actually the same coin. One is graded and encapsulated in this case, and the other one is has a casing around it for you to wear it as a pendant. Okay, there's a limited number of these pendants left. You can find them on our website for $350, and the graded coins are $500. And I'm sure when I finish this presentation, you will understand that these coins are worth way more than that. So each commemorative Elijah coin is 1 ounce of pure copper. Okay, it's about the size of a 50-cent piece. I didn't wear mine today, but it's about that size. Okay, it's been pressed, cleaned, and melted at 1,983 degrees Fahrenheit and molded into this commemorative coin. The coin was also graded by independent coin graders. And again, we're going to talk about the significance of grading a coin. And they've been grading and authenticating coins, tokens, and metals from around the world for collectors and dealers since 1998. They use a unique state-of-the-art tamper-resistant holder with a custom hologram system and specialty plastics, making the holder one of the least counterfeited in the industry. Why is it so important that we make sure this coin is not counterfeited? Because we are issuing a limited number of them. And as these coins begin to get sold and the house is completed and the museum popularizes and our history and the value of our history begins to be recognized, things like these copper coins are going to be of great value. And there are great artistic heirlooms to pass down to your family. I have some coins here. I'm going to show you some of my coin collection, but I'll keep going through this. So let me tell you about the coins. They're laden with spiritual significance, including 24 stars surrounding an etched image of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the front. And the traditional "In God We Trust" that you normally see on coins is replaced with the phrase "In the name of Allah." The back of the coin includes an etching of the House Museum with the phrase "He lives," written above the Arabic phrase "La ilaha illallah," which in English means "There is no God but Allah." The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was quoted as saying, and this is some of the inspiration, and I'm going to get into that here a little. Some people said, well, why do this? Why are you recycling materials? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was quoted as saying to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, "When they find out who I am, they will rip the bark off the trees." I love and believe in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the messenger of Allah, the Mahdi. Everything he touched, walked on, or possessed is sacred to me and many believers and followers around the world. I am humbled that Allah has entrusted me with the opportunity to preserve some of the history of his star student, his first begotten of the dead. We are focused on preserving as much of the history as possible. And that's the reason behind that. All right. So now let me just say to you, because some of you are saying, well, who is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And why go through all this trouble? Who is he? For those of you who don't know, or for those of you who know and just like to hear about him. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I'm going to lift the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from the Final Call newspaper with a few little additions and tweaks here and there. But he is indeed a true friend of the Black man and woman. His influence is felt. I'm going to try to get through this without getting emotional. Let me just say this. since I was very, very young and I learned about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I think that I initially just knew how to connect that with the scriptures. Something about it connected, something about who he is made me know that I was walking through the volume of the book, even though I didn't know what that meant. And that's some of the notes that you all have sent me that I'm going to put actually in a big coffee table book. I'm going to put your notes there because they're so profound. And like I said, I'm not going to read it, but I need to just step back for a minute so I wouldn't be emotional while I'm saying that. But saying this thing, okay, he is indeed a true friend of the Black man and woman. His influence is felt around the world today and is embedded in the pride that we all speak here today. He worked, he suffered, he studied, and he constantly prayed for our rise. He sacrificed his own personal life to devote 44 years to the rise of our people. He single-handedly, with tenaciousness of will and singleness of purpose, turned the language of America from the use of the word Negro, which means something dead, lifeless, or hard, into seeing ourselves as Black people, members of the Aboriginal nation of the earth. He turned our hearts toward Africa and our brothers and sisters in the isles of the Pacific, Central and South America, and the Caribbean. His wisdom showed us the connection between the Native Americans and their membership in the Aboriginal nation of the earth. He, more than any other religious leader, is responsible for causing us to refer to one another as brothers and sisters. He caused new levels of scholarship in the research of history of the Black man and into the nature and birth record of mankind. He inspired research into melanin and its presence or absence and its effect on our thought processes. He taught us how to eat to live, causing us to throw away medicines and become health conscious. His teachings on this subject began the process of proud beautification of our people. He started the process of reformation of the Black woman, without which there can be no new people. He showed us the value of a proper education and was a pioneer in the establishment of an independent school system that reflected the same. He demonstrated the proper use of money by establishing for his followers farmland, banks, businesses, airplanes, and airport facilities, international trade and commerce. You name it, he did it. And you're going to see evidence of that in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum when you come and visit. He saw and cultivated our greatness. His divine influence can be seen around the world. That's a little bit about him. So some people say, why coins? It was an inspiration. I was in a meeting and we realized we had all these linear feet of copper. And we were like, what do we do with it? I didn't want to throw it away. And so trying to figure out with it and decided upon coins. But the decision to decide upon making a coin was just the beginning, because it took me 3 months to find a foundry who would agree to take our copper and our design and make the coins. 3 months, okay. And so many of them say, yeah, we'll make you a coin, but we're not using all that old dirty copper. So we had to figure out how to cut it up, how to wash it, how to clean it, how to get it to the foundry, who then took it and melted it. That's a whole process in and of itself. We removed it, we cut it down, we cleaned it. Some cases we had to scrape some debris off of it. We bound it and then delivered it to the foundry, who melted it at 1,983 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to show you all a video about coin collecting. And Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at the video about coin collecting, because I've been into coin collecting since I was a little girl. It's something that my father got me into. I have one thing here. This is a case where I keep some of my collectible coins, and I have some others there. I just didn't pull them all out, but this is actually the President Obama coin collection. I'll take one out so you can see it. But it's this is the President Obama coin collection, and it has different pictures of him on the back. I know you can't hardly see it, but you can look it up. So I have them in a case. They were minted in 2015 by the US government. These coins were minted in 2020 by myself. And so I minted these coins, and minting just means the person who creates the coin. I had Brother Tori and Brother Sultan Rahman, Brother Tori Muhammad of Bean Soup Times, and Imam Sultan Rahman at Mas Mariam. He's also an executive council member of the Nation of Islam, who helped me with the design to think about what to put on here. The front of the coin kind of came to my mind and came to my brain as soon as I decided to do the coin. I wasn't sure what to put on the back. And I think between Brother Tori, Sultan, and maybe even Abnar Farrakhan Muhammad, who said, let's put the house on the back. And, and then I said, yes, I love that. And so we went from there. So Brother Tori actually did the layout for me, and we tweaked and played around with it a little bit. So coin collecting, you all, is something that a lot of times we're not that much into, but I want you to understand coin collecting, why this minting is so important. This coin, I'm going to use this minted coin and the holders of these coins to give people priority access to the home. So if you have a coin, either of these coins, and you buy it from our website, you will get priority, you'll get privileges, right? So coin holding will have a privilege. Let me grab this video here that I want to show you all about coin grading, or no, we're going to talk about coin collecting. Okay. Let's do that first. Let you all, it's a short video, so just hang in there. Here we go.
Numismatics is the study or collection of coins, tokens, metals, paper currency, and related objects. The word numismatics is borrowed from the Latin word numismatus, meaning coin, currency, or stamp on a coin. This field also includes the broader study of money as a method of payment that people use to pay for goods or resolve debts. Although the terms numismatist and coin collector can be used interchangeably, numismatists approach the subject of coins from a cultural, historical, or artistic standpoint. Coin collectors acquire coins based on their goals, while numismatists are professionals that study coins and currency. Often referred to as the hobby of kings, coin collecting has historically been practiced by royalty and the wealthy elite. Understanding the value and history of coins is crucial to numismatists. Coins can be bullion, proof, ancient, circulating, rare, or commemorative, and can have inscriptions such as the year it was minted, the mint mark, captivating designs, the face value, fineness, or mottos such as "In God We Trust." However, a master at the study of numismatics will look for much more. If you'd like to get started on advanced...
All right, so I wanted you all to check that out so that you can just know a little bit about the history of coin collecting and how it's a science that a lot of people do actually practice. And when I think about that whole video and the study, let me just say this to you real quick. I believe that we're moving into a phase where economic development will be a critical accomplishment for us as a people in terms of moving towards our freedom, our independence, and our ability to really sit at the table as players. And in conjunction with the quote that I read earlier from the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 11, I believe that we're moving into a phase where economic development will be sustainable. And so to have the coin as a symbol of the house, we have another logo, which is the cracked atom. But this is quickly becoming a logo as well. And I'm thinking of even when we get our historic marker for becoming listed on the National Historic Registry, my goal is also to probably put a big copper coin, just like this one, on the side of the house. So this coin is going to mean a lot. Now, some of you have asked me, like, what is grading and why is the coin being graded so important? So I'm going to pull up, I have another quick video for you to see that's just going to talk about the importance of a coin being graded. Since a lot of you aren't coin collectors, you may not understand the importance of this coin being graded. And you may not understand how valuable these coins are. Not only that, but as a result of them being graded. But before I go into this, well, let me just play it. And then what I'll do is I will tell you how we got to the point where we decided to actually grade the coin, because that was a real spiritual process for me. So check this video out.
What's unique about the PCS grading process is that we are very objective. We work to make sure that each grader grades points independently. This is a very independent process. We find that over the years has produced the most objective, best grades we can possibly do. PCS points are the most liquid points in the marketplace. There's an incredible market, incredible demand by collectors, so it's quite easy to sell PCS points versus other brands.
If the buyer and seller know that it's a PCS product, they can't have any more confidence than the fact that it is graded and authenticated by the most reputable company in business.
PCS gives them assurance that what they're buying is legitimate. In 1986, PCS introduced a lifetime guarantee, and this caused thousands of new collectors and new investors to enter into the marketplace because they were confident that what they were buying was legitimate.
We feel that the certification has added a great deal of value to collectors. It certainly adds an element of security, if you will, for the collectors.
We've got a track record of grading 28 million coins. We've been around for 28 years now.
And so PCS does a great number of certifications for heritage, and it's something that is vital to us. And I thank them every day for the service that they do for the coin market.
When collectors give us their coins to grade, they have the confidence and insurance that their coins are in fact properly graded, objectively graded, and that their coins will be the most liquid, the most valuable that they can be.
All right, so this is also another piece that's important for you all to know. So when once I settled on the coin, found a foundry, I then was struck with, how do I present the coin? What do I do? Because what I didn't necessarily like was just this presentation, which is this is from one of my own personal collections. So I said, how do I do it? So I came up with this satin box. It was a green satin box with a gold satin on the inside. And the coins, sort of like the one I just showed you from my other collection, sat in there. And that's how we were going to get them out. It was already a little expensive. But keep in mind, the idea behind selling the coins was to support the renovation and restoration and now the completion. So it was to raise funds, right? And I didn't want to just ask for money and not receive anything. So I said, it's either you're going to become a sponsor or you can get a coin. I was just trying to make sure that you got something for the money that you would donate or gift to us to complete the sacred renovation and restoration. And so I took it to prayer, and I was having this whole conversation with Allah. and having a conversation with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I said, do you like this? I had a sample of it. I said, if you like it, make it plain, make it clear. If you don't like it, make it plain, make it clear. And I went to bed. And then the next morning when I woke up, I had all of these emails and texts from this company in China that was helping me with the packaging, who was saying that not only did they have like a 6 or 8 month delay on shipment, but that the price of the packaging was going to start anywhere from $21 a piece to $48 a piece. And I was like, okay, well, that's pretty plain. And then I just thought, well, okay, so now what do I do? So then my next prayer was, I said, okay, y'all, then let me know what you want me to do. And I received a call from the foundry who was saying that, look, your coins are going to be they're going to be completed in the next couple of days. Do you want them graded? And I was like, what do you mean by that? And so she started to explain to me that minted coins, generally coins that are minted by the United States, are generally those that are graded. And that this particular coin, given the significance of it, given the potential value of it, the coin grader said that they would mint them for us. And she told me the price that they gave us and told me the process. And I was like, okay, I think that's it. So that's how we got to the point where we wanted to have the coins graded. Okay. And one last thing I just want to say before we go out here and just putting this presentation together. I have 2 quotes that I think are really powerful. One is from Rumi, the Islamic poet, the Sufi poet Rumi. I love Sufi poetry and music. I love all things Sufi. And so I thought this was really interesting. It said, through love, scraps of copper are turned to gold. And this actually, as a Muslim follower and student of Master Fard Muhammad, under the tutelage of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, this is truly a project of love. And so through this love, the scraps of copper that we took off the building, which I should have brought here with me so you could see, in my opinion, have become like gold, because that's how valuable they now are. And they begin to represent this invaluable project. And then Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 9 says, out of mountains, you will mine copper. This is significant. The project is significant. Today, many in the world capitalize off of our culture. Much of our culture, much of the modern day culture, the vernacular is born out of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Listen, Black people are so dope. We are so creative and ingenious. Our pain and suffering has produced inventions that have changed the world and a form of cultural expression that fuels the world. The whole world follows us and mimics us. Our culture has become the world's culture. Hip hop, for example, our urban street sounds that were rejected and despised have now become a multi-billion-dollar industry. All right. So many of our neighborhoods where our history was made in urban, everyday houses and areas around the country, like I mentioned, have now become the vortex of violence. Sadly so. We, at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, in the city of Chicago, we want to help us to ensure pride in our culture and to transition out of our historic neighborhoods being the vortex of violence. We have to work to fight against the enemy within and outside of us that is creating this type of violence. I hope, to spark a Black cultural renaissance in our communities around the world. I want to help spark a renewed self-interest and preservation of our culture. I want to cultivate radical changes in the ideas about our culture, and I want to lead a cultural renaissance in our community. Urban historic preservation is a critical aspect of activating cultural economic development in our communities. We must begin to tell our own stories. We must begin to control the narrative, and we must begin to monetize our own culture. This is sacred space, and I thank you all for supporting. I pray that you will continue to help us with the completion by purchasing your commemorative Elijah coin. If you go to the website there, when you pull up the website, this coin is going to be the one to pop up. So if you go straight to sajdahhouse.com, you can get this graded coin, which again is the one I think you should get because it also has this unique hologram number and stamp on the back. And this number will become part of your membership number to gain access to certain privileges. But even if you get this coin, you're still going to have privileged access, especially if you get it through the website. But you're going to have to go on our Instagram page to get that link. And you can follow us while you're there. So go to us on Instagram at Sajdah House, SAJDAHHOUSE on IG. Follow us, click the link in the bio, and you can purchase these commemorative coins and wear jewelry that matters. And if you want to be a sponsor, if you've decided that you want your name etched in the home for the duration of the home, we've got some wonderful sponsors. I'm so excited for them to see what we've done with the gifts that they've blessed us with. I won't name them all, but just we have some amazing sponsors, and their name is going to be their family name or however they want it is going to be on a plaque in those specific areas that they've sponsored throughout the home. So with that, I'm going to get out of here, but I just wanted to come out here, do this quick explanation. I apologize for the sun because when I sat down here, the sun was not doing this. So I hope it doesn't distract you, and I hope it doesn't take away from the value of the information that I wanted to share here with you all today. So the commemorative Elijah coins are in. The pendants, these are in. You can get them on the website, and I also encourage you to get. If you got to get one or the other, if you got the money, you want to make a choice, I say get this one. But some of us like to bling bling. All right, peace and blessings. Again, like I said, my goal was to put this together because many of you are joining the movement late and you're like, what is all this? What is this? What is this? And so I hope this helps. All right, so peace and blessings, family. I'm going to go out with a short video just showing you some fun I was having when the Elijah coin pendants came in. All right, peace and blessings, family. Assalamu alaikum.
To share with you some of the magnificent and triumphant teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When we say magnificent and triumphant teachings, these two words, magnificent and triumphant, are adjectives that describe the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. That which is magnificent is that which is supremely great. That which is triumphant is that which is powerful enough to overcome obstacles. Think of it, black man and woman. There is a teaching in America for you that is supremely great, meaning that it is a teaching above all other teachings that have ever entered the ears of a black man and woman.